Chapter 20. Drop Dead, Gorgeous.
Your freckles are stupid and your plans get you maimed. But once all said and done, guess we're kind of the same.
Izuku stared at the screen stupidly. He only remembered to blink when his eyes began to sting. Closing his open mouth, he glanced at his co-workers. Thankfully, no one was paying him much attention. They were all staring, transfixed, at the video playing on the computer. Izuku recognized the interior of Katsuki's apartment immediately. The main room had been shuffled around, but Izuku had been there enough times that he remembered the layout. Katsuki was sitting on a chair, his body only visible from his hips up. He was barefaced and wearing a simple black t-shirt. He was holding one of his electric guitars in his lap. Something from behind the camera caught Katsuki's eye. He nodded curtly. "All right," he said, shifting his furrowed gaze towards the lens. He somehow seemed to stare straight through the camera. A shiver ran down Izuku's spine. "Let's get one thing straight. This ain't some sappy-ass ballad, okay?" He sighed and shook his head. "I wanted to try something different." Katsuki moved his hands into position. He exhaled loudly before he began to play a slow, offbeat melody. He progressed into the tune, muting the chords on the downstroke. The sound was quirky and somehow soothing, very much unlike the unapologetically harsh chords that Izuku was used to hearing from the anti-heroes. "Drop dead, gorgeous. You ain't gonna break me down tonight. This hearts ain't got room for two of us. Stop putting up a fight." Izuku gasped. His mouth went dry. His face felt hot. Katsuki's voice carried its usual gruff edge, but he sang with a level of control and a somber tonality that Izuku hadn't heard from him before. Izuku had known that Katsuki could sing, but this was different. His voice perfectly harmonized with everything from the mood of the song to his appearance to the setting. It felt stripped down, raw, and earnest. "I wanted to do things my way. I wanna do this right. I just thought I should tell you that my cat hates you, but that's cool. My cat hates me too. You never shut up, but that's fine. You can talk to me all night. You were kind of a jerk and I'm one hell of a mess. You really weren't half bad, I guess." Katsuki's voice paralyzed Izuku. He couldn't tear his eyes from the screen. He couldn't move. His heart ached anew with a profound sense of loss. Izuku could have tried to deny what was obvious, but he'd only be fooling himself. It was all too obvious that the song was about him. Here's to nights spent under the moon, strumming old chords with a ghost or two. Memories of Katsuki teaching Izuku chords on his acoustic guitar while they were en route to Vegas came flooding back to Izuku. Katsuki's voice was painfully gorgeous. None of this felt real, yet somehow it was too real. Izuku bit his lip. Why was this happening? Why was Katsuki? Was this his way of apologizing? "I know you're gonna be just fine. You've got your plans and I've got mine." Izuku choked back a sob and buried his face in his hands. This was too much. It felt like Katsuki was speaking directly to him. "But I wanted to tell you that I was giving you what I had. I guess that's pretty sad." Izuku lowered his hands. His brow wrinkled, his distress momentarily replaced with confusion. "I was giving you what I had?" The tempo picked up before it slowed down once more. Katsuki sang the final lines under his breath, a humorless smirk quirking the corner of his mouth. "You were kind of a jerk and I'm one hell of a mess. I really, things up, I guess." The final lyrics of the song hit Izuku like a gut punch. He could feel himself trembling from head to toe. How had his co-workers found this? If Katsuki had really written it, then did that mean? Izuku pulled his phone from his pocket and checked the screen. He should have known better, but his stomach sank anyways. Nothing. What had felt like a heartfelt apology seconds ago soured instantly. Izuku glared at his phone, no longer moved. He felt raw, exposed, and in a way, humiliated. He hated this. He hated how much power Katsuki still had over him. How could he care enough to write a song about him but then continue to ignore him? 3 months. It had been 3 months since they'd last spoken. Izuku angrily shoved his phone into his pocket. He peered at the video details that were displayed on the computer. "Drop Dead, Gorgeous. The Anti-Heroes." The song had been out for all of 2 days and had already gained 500,000 views. So that was it. Katsuki had taken Izuku's advice and used it against him. He'd written a said song to gain popularity and it had worked. Great. At some point, Izuku remembered his co-workers. He's so dreamy, he caught one of them saying. I cried the first time I saw it. He sounds like Izuku interjected. His co-workers' expressions were a reflection of his own surprise over his choice of words. How can you say that? One of the girls shrieked in outrage. That song was beautiful, another protested. He sounds like a fallen angel. Izuku shrugged and mechanically returned to his desk. He didn't know whether or not Katsuki was being sincere, but if he thought that Izuku was going to reach out to him just because he'd finally learned how to emotionally connect to an audience, then he had another thing coming. I dunno, he said as casually as he could manage. I guess I find it sort of derivative. Izuku sat down at his desk and forced himself to return to work. His co-workers' cries of indignation were the only thing that got him through the rest of the afternoon. I saw the song. Izuku grimaced. He watched Shoto as he slid off of his living room couch in incredibly slow motion. Even you, Todoroki. Shoto nodded. Momo found it. It's getting really big. Izuku groaned. I'm not sure I want to know. Shoto stared at Izuku as he continued to inch towards the floor, his face a silent question. Ugh, Izuku said. Fine. Tell me. Shoto hesitated. When Momo showed it to me this morning, it had around 2 million views. Izuku choked. He jumped up from Shoto's armchair. Shoto hit the ground with a dull thud. 2 million. Izuku exclaimed. It was barely at a quarter of that yesterday. Shoto glanced his phone, pursed his lips, then looked at Izuku. It's closer to 3 now. Izuku's eyes bulged out of his head. He groaned. I don't know how I ought to feel about all of this, he admitted. A part of me is touched, I guess. The rest is, Izuku shook his head. Whatever. I'm happy for them. They've been waiting for something like this. Kirishima and Mina must be over the moon. Have either of them contacted you? Izuku joined Shoto on the floor. No, I think that they might be nervous about reaching out right now. Shoto set his phone aside. What about him? Him can go to hell, Izuku retorted. He recalled the final lyrics from Katsuki's song and pushed them from his mind. He's a jerk. Shoto paused. You haven't thought about contacting him? No, Izuku lied. He glared at the ceiling. He hasn't messaged me for months, Todoroki. Why should I go out of my way for him? I'm over it. You don't sound over it. Izuku shot Shoto a dirty look. Shoto paused. Let me rephrase that. You were pretty cut up over everything. It might be good for you to get some closure. As for him, Shoto frowned. I don't know the guy and I won't pretend that I do. But it seems like he could use some closure too. Izuku stared at Shoto, flabbergasted. I thought that you didn't like him, he said accusingly. I don't, Shoto replied evenly. He brought his knees up to his chest and wrapped his arms around them. I'm only suggesting this for your sake. I, quite frankly, think that you can do better. Izuku chuckled despite himself. I can do better, huh? I mean, it doesn't sound like it'd be hard. Izuku laughed. He looked at his friend thoughtfully. Hey. What did you say your co-worker's name was? He asked. Shoto opened his mouth to respond but was interrupted when Izuku's phone began to ring. He looked at the screen and frowned. Who is it? Shoto asked. Dunno, Izuku replied. I don't recognize the number. He answered the call. Hello. Hello. Is this Midoriya Izuku? The voice was unfamiliar. Yes, speaking. Great. This is Nakamura Alice calling from Outreach News. I'm contacting you in regards to the photo essay that you recently submitted for publication. Outreach News. That was one of the media affiliates connected with Endeavor Enterprises. It was a trendy online publication that was popular with young adults. Izuku's heart leapt to his throat. And I was hoping to schedule a meeting with you to discuss your work in further detail with our content director. Are you available on Monday? Monday? Izuku would be expected at the beat on Monday. Maybe he could pop by after work. Wait, what was he thinking? Take it. Take it. Yes. Izuku exclaimed. He leapt to his feet. Pinching his phone between his cheek and shoulder, he frantically mimed the likeness of a pen and paper to Shoto. Yes, I can absolutely do that. Okay. How does 8 AM sound? Perfect. Shoto dashed to the kitchen and back. He shoved the requested items into Izuku's hands. Izuku quickly jotted down the date and time, then confirmed the address and a few other details. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. After thanking Alice for what felt like the 100th time, Izuku ended the call. What was that about? Shoto asked. A painfully wide grin split Izuku's face. Outreach news, he said, barely able to contain his excitement. I owe you one hell of a nice dinner. Shoto grinned. I'd prefer cold soba. Izuku gave a joyous shout, then tackled Shoto into a bear hug. Sneaking in late Monday morning proved easier than Izuku had anticipated. Barely anyone even glanced his way, they were too busy chatting about the latest gossip. Izuku's previously euphoric mood was somewhat dampened when he realized what the cause of all of the excitement was. Can you believe it? I had no idea they were even from the area. I spent the whole weekend listening to their songs. I'm such a fan. I'm dying to see them live. When are they playing next? Do you think they're working on a new album? Who cares? They should take advantage of all of the attention and book a tour. God, I want Ground Zero to step on me. Do you think they'll let us meet him? I hope so. Maybe we should stake him out. Someone hummed the tune to Drop Dead, Gorgeous as they passed by Izuku's desk. He sighed. Was this his personal hell? As Izuku quietly got to work, one of his co-workers sidled up next to him. Have you heard the news? She asked. Izuku frowned. What news? Her eyes lit up. She leaned in. Apparently that band. The Antiheroes, they're from around here. Rumor has it that editorial is trying to get them in for an exclusive interview. She grinned. They'll probably have them in for a photo shoot too. Ugh, I can't wait. We're actually staying on the cutting edge of something for once. Izuku tried to wipe the horrified expression off his face, but he wasn't fast enough. His co-worker frowned. You know, you could be more excited, she said. Their music is good. Maybe you just don't get it. I never said I didn't like them, Izuku responded hotly. He couldn't help but feel irked by her words. I doubt they'll agree to do it anyways. His co-worker put one hand on her hip. Why not? Izuku recalled a conversation that he'd had with Katsuki a long time ago. I'm not sure they think too highly of magazines like The Beat. Oh, like you're an expert, she shot back. What do you know? You're not even a fan. Izuku pinched the bridge of his nose. He'd had enough of this conversation. Every word that his co-worker said rubbed more salt into what, thanks to Katsuki, was a freshly reopened wound. The sudden ferocious stomping of heels made the studio instantly turn deathly silent. Where is he? The photographers looked at each other with panicked expressions. They scrambled to their respective desks. Izuku tried to focus on his revisions. The sound from the heels grew louder. Don't come this way, he thought. Don't come this way. Don't come. Midori ya Izuku. Izuku felt his blood run cold. With dread oozing from every pore, he slowly turned. He plastered a huge, fake smile on his face. Good morning, Ms. Takeyama, he stammered. Takeyama Yu held up her hand, silencing Izuku. She was an attractive woman, her long blonde hair was styled immaculately in her fashion sense, while bordering on inappropriate at times, was always modern. She stood at well over 6 feet tall in her stilettos, earning her the whispered nickname of MT Lady amongst her colleagues. She was capable of being pleasant, but when she was upset, it was best to run for cover. Izuku took one look at his boss and gulped. He knew that he should have taken the entire day off rather than tried to sneak in late. I'm so angry, I can't even look at you right now, you said. Come with me. Izuku nodded dumbly and stood. His co-workers watched him leave solemnly. He could sense them planning his wake. Izuku followed Yu as she stomped her way through the studio. She pushed open the back doors and headed for the elevators that connected the studio to the rest of the beat. Izuku balked. He'd assumed that Yu was going to take him into one of the back rooms and yell at him. Miss Takeyama, he asked uncertainly as Yu pounded the up button on the elevator. The doors opened and they stepped inside. Be quiet, Yu snapped. She tapped her foot impatiently as the elevator ascended. Izuku pressed his lips together. As they stepped off the elevator, Yu began to mutter angrily to herself. Does she think she is? It's my damn department, old hag. I should be up there running the show myself. They passed by the rows of cubicles that made up the editorial department. Izuku noticed Okako and a few others poking their heads up, Yu's loud muttering catching their interest. Izuku and Okako's eyes met briefly. Shame-faced, Izuku averted his gaze and followed his boss right up to. Oh no! Fear coiled in his gut. The editor-in-chief's office. This wasn't about him blowing off work. No, this was worse. Yu knocked on the closed door then, without waiting for a response, pushed it open. All right, I've got him. Happy. The black-haired woman sitting behind the minimalist desk blinked, murmured something into her phone, then set the device down. Perfectly, she purred. You looked like she was holding back words. Izuku didn't dare move or speak. Kayama Nemuri, editor-in-chief of the Beat, smirked. Izuku shrank back. He'd never been introduced to Nemuri, but he'd heard stories about you-know-who. Nemuri was a proud woman with a confident demeanor. Her dark hair was long and sleek, her blue eyes framed by a pair of bright red cat-eye glasses. She had a reputation that put the fear of God into most of her employees. Those who liked her, however, referred to her as Midnight, due to her uncanny ability to worm her way into any major city party or event regardless of how elite it was. Nemuri watched Izuku with the penetrating gaze of an apex predator. So this is Midoriya Izuku, she said. It's a pleasure to meet you, ma'am, Izuku said. He felt faint. Nemuri frowned and Izuku almost vomited. After a moment her expression cleared and she smiled. Adorable, she said, but don't call me ma'am again. You're going to make me feel old. She gestured at the empty seats across from her desk. Izuku mumbled an apology and shuffled over to a chair. Yu huffed and made a display of slamming the office door shut before she joined them. She crossed her arms and glared at both of them. Izuku winced. Now, you, Nemuri scolded lightly. Lighten up a little. You're scaring the poor boy. He should be scared, Yu retorted, crossing one leg over the other for good measure. Izuku had heard that there was bad blood between his boss and the editor-in-chief, but he'd never witnessed it firsthand. He wasn't sure whether it was caused by jealousy, repressed attraction, if the rumors meant anything at all, or something else, but the last thing he wanted was to be caught in the middle of it. Nemuri laughed before she turned her attention back to Izuku. Did you tell you why she brought you here? She asked. Izuku shook his head. I'm afraid not, he said meekly. Am I in trouble? Trouble. Nemuri chortled, slamming her hand onto the desk. Izuku almost died right then and there. I suppose that depends on a few things. When Izuku paled, she laughed again. First of all, I'm dying to know. What is the nature of your relationship with the anti-heroes? If Izuku had any saliva left in his mouth, he would have choked on it. I'm sorry, he asked. You kicked the side of his chair irritably. Answer the question. We're friendly acquaintances, I guess. Izuku faltered. I've photographed a couple of their shows. The look on Yu's face made Izuku want to sink into the chair and disappear. It was for personal interest, he squeaked. I took them outside of work hours. Let me see your photographs, Nemuri said. Growing more confused by the second, Izuku gave Nemuri his social media handle. He writhed in his seat as she scrolled through his work disinterestedly. She narrowed her eyes. What's your experience with photo shoots? Izuku hesitated. He couldn't bring up what he was doing with Mirio, not in front of his boss. I've assisted on a couple. Nemuri gave Izuku a sidelong glance. So, what? Did you call your buddies and ask them to do you a solid? Are you trying to force your way into a position that you're underqualified for? I'm sorry. Izuku repeated, completely lost and terrified. Are you sleeping with one of them? What no? Izuku cried out. He's lying, you said. I'm not. Izuku protested. He felt like a minnow trapped between a shark and a giant squid. Please, I have no idea what either of you are talking about. Would someone tell me what's going on? Nemuri leaned back in her chair. Well, she started, this band that everybody's talking about is what's going on. The second that I found out they were from the area, I knew that I had to have them. They're new, they're edgy, they're on the cusp of success. Nemuri smiled hungrily. They're exactly the kind of story that the Beat is looking for. The lead singer is a looker, too. I'll bet he photographs really well. You grumbled. I had my people contact them, but apparently the lead singer isn't interested, not unless one of our entry-level photographers is given the shoot. Nemuri gave Izuku a pointed look. He asked for you by name. So would you mind telling me what this is all about? Izuku's jaw dropped to the floor. He did what? He asked weakly. Nemuri exchanged a look with you. Well, she remarked, at least he has the decency to look surprised. Izuku's head was spinning. Never in his life would he have guessed that this was why he'd been called into Nemuri's office. He was mortified. He was elated. He was furious. First, there was the video. Now, this. What the hell was Katsuki trying to do? I'm very sorry for all of the trouble that this has caused you, Izuku finally said. Don't worry. I'll talk to the band and sort everything out. I'm not going to do the shoot. He'd speak with Kirishima or Mina. They would be reasonable. Oh, you're doing the shoot, Nemuri said. What? Izuku felt the color drain from his face. I want this band, Nemuri said. Her gaze hardened. I want the Beat to be the first magazine that the anti-heroes are published in. I want to be credited with discovering them. These ungrateful a-holes' faces are going to be on the cover of the next goddamn issue one way or another. If they say that they're not going to come unless you do the shoot, then you're doing the shoot. Nemuri sighed. We'll have to figure out how we're going to manage this. Would they settle for Izuku as an assistant? You asked. Apparently not, Nemuri responded dryly. They were quite clear with their stipulations. Izuku was pretty sure that if he ever saw Katsuki again, he was going to strangle him with his bare hands. We'll put on a show then, you said. Let Izuku run around with a camera for a few minutes. My Togata will handle the rest. Nemuri nodded slowly. I don't particularly like it, but I don't think we have many other options. She looked at Izuku, her smile vanishing. Do not breathe a word of this to the band. Do not whisper a single syllable to your co-workers. Do you understand? Izuku gulped. He nodded. Yes. Good. Nemuri's smile returned. I'll go ahead and let them know. She looked at Izuku one last time. Not a word. Yes, Izuku whispered. Izuku clenched and unclenched his fists as he followed you out of Nemuri's office. He'd almost pissed himself back there. Was Katsuki aware of how much trouble he could have gotten him into? What the hell had he been thinking? You couldn't force your way into people's lives like that. I'm sorry, Izuku repeated. You ignored him. The moment that they stepped inside the elevator, however, that changed. Whirling on Izuku, you shoved her hand against his shoulder and pushed him into the wall. Izuku yelped. His heart slammed against his ribcage. You're a liar, you snarled. She was significantly taller than Izuku, an intimidating presence even when she wasn't mad. You think you're clever, don't you? I've only assisted on a couple of shoots. Give me a break. Do you think I'm stupid? Oh God. She knew about Mirio. Izuku stuttered. You sneered. There's nothing I hate more than liars. Did you ever stop to think that maybe there was a reason that I kept you on edits and product work? That maybe I need good people working on things besides photo shoots? Not everything is about you, Midoriya Izuku. Izuku somehow felt insulted, complimented, and terrified all at once. I can't stay at the bottom forever, he protested with as much conviction as he could muster. If I'm good at what I do, why shouldn't I get new opportunities? Because that's not how the world works. You tossed her hair haughtily. Do you think that I wanted to be in charge of the photography department at some middle-of-the-road fashion magazine? She paused. A malicious smile appeared on her face. You know what, she sneered. You want new opportunities so badly? Fine. You're in charge of the shoot. Izuku's heart stopped. He stared at his boss stupidly. What? You've been working with Togata. Think you're really good now, huh? She jabbed a finger into his chest. It's your shoot. Togata will assist you. There were 1,000 things wrong with this situation. But Ms. Kayama said. What Nemuri doesn't know won't hurt her. You smirked. What's wrong? You don't want it? Don't think that you're qualified. Izuku wasn't qualified, he knew that much. He had a feeling that he didn't have a whole lot of say in the matter though. I do want it, he said. Good. You stepped away from Izuku. The elevator slowed to a halt. Izuku opened and closed his mouth. He felt like he ought to say something. Thank you. As the elevator doors pinged open, you looked at Izuku and smiled humorlessly. If you screw this up, she said, you're fired.